Mesopotamian civilization. Imagine standing thousands of years ago between two enormous rivers. The land is hot, flat, and surrounded by water. But those rivers are also the reason civilization can grow here. This is Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. People learned to control water through irrigation, turning dry land into productive farmland. Villages grew. Then villages became cities. Cities needed rules, administration, trade, and systems for keeping records. And that's where something remarkable happened. Writing emerged. The ancient Sumerians developed cuneiform, allowing people to record everything from trade and taxes to laws and stories. Cities such as Ur and Uruk became powerful centers of civilization. But Mesopotamia wasn't just about writing. It gave humanity early forms of organized government, mathematics, law, agriculture, and urban life. And once people learned how to build great cities, other civilizations would take the idea even further. Ancient Egyptian civilization. Few civilizations are as instantly recognizable as ancient Egypt. The Nile River runs through a landscape that would otherwise be incredibly difficult to farm. But every year, the river brought water and fertile soil, and the Egyptians learned how to build an entire civilization around it. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. And eventually, enormous monuments began rising from the desert. The pyramids weren't simply giant piles of stone. They represented an extraordinary combination of engineering, organization, mathematics, labor, religion, and political power. Egyptians also developed writing through hieroglyphs, created sophisticated calendars, advanced medicine, and built complex systems of administration. And perhaps most fascinating of all, their civilization lasted for thousands of years. But while Egypt flourished along the Nile, another remarkable civilization was developing much farther east, and its cities would reveal an astonishing level of urban planning. Indus Valley Civilization. Imagine discovering an ancient city where houses are arranged in organized streets, buildings have standardized bricks, and sophisticated drainage systems run through the settlement. You might assume you're looking at a relatively modern city, but you're actually looking at the Indus Valley Civilization. Thousands of years ago, cities such as Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro developed across parts of present-day South Asia. Their builders created carefully planned streets, wells, drainage systems, and large public structures. Even the bricks were often produced according to standardized dimensions. That tells us something important. This wasn't simply a collection of villages. It was a highly organized urban civilization. The people of the Indus Valley also participated in long-distance trade and developed a writing system that remains largely undeciphered. And then, over time, these great cities declined. Much about the civilization remains mysterious, but its urban planning leaves behind an extraordinary message. Thousands of years ago, people were already thinking seriously about how a city should function. And farther east, another civilization was developing traditions that would influence one of the world's largest continuous cultural regions. Ancient Chinese civilization. China's civilization didn't emerge from a single city. It developed across vast river valleys and changing dynasties over thousands of years. The Yellow River became one of its early centers of agriculture and settlement. Over time, powerful kingdoms emerged. Then came dynasties, and with them came systems of government, writing, philosophy, technology, and administration. Ancient Chinese civilization produced remarkable innovations. Paper eventually transformed communication. Printing later transformed the spread of knowledge. Gunpowder changed warfare. The compass changed navigation. But perhaps China's greatest influence wasn't a single invention. It was the development of institutions and ideas that could survive political change. Philosophies such as Confucianism shaped ideas about education, family, government, and social responsibility for centuries. And while China developed powerful centralized states, another civilization was experimenting with a very different idea. What happens when political power is divided among competing city-states? Ancient Greek civilization. Ancient Greece wasn't one giant unified empire. It was a collection of independent city-states. Athens, Sparta, Corinth, and many others. They competed, traded, fought, and developed their own political systems. And in Athens, something particularly influential emerged. Democracy. It wasn't the same as modern democracy. Only certain people could participate. But the idea that citizens could have a role in governing their city became enormously influential. Greek thinkers also asked questions that still sound familiar today. What makes a good society? What is justice? What is truth? How should governments work? Philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle shaped Western intellectual history. Greek mathematicians, scientists, architects, artists, and writers also left an enormous legacy. But Greece eventually came under the influence of a much larger power, a civilization that would build roads across continents, establish enormous cities, and create one of the most influential legal traditions in history: Rome. Roman civilization. Rome began as a small settlement. Then it became a republic. Then an empire. And eventually, its influence stretched across enormous parts of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. So how did Rome become so powerful? Part of the answer was organization. Roman engineers built roads, bridges, aqueducts, harbors, and enormous public buildings. Their armies could move quickly across the empire because infrastructure connected distant regions. Roman law also became hugely influential, and Roman cities introduced large-scale public spaces, baths, marketplaces, theaters, and other forms of urban infrastructure. But Rome wasn't simply about conquest. Its culture absorbed ideas from many of the peoples it encountered. Languages, architecture, law, engineering, and administration spread across the empire. Eventually, the Western Roman Empire collapsed. But Rome didn't simply disappear. Its influence continued through languages, legal systems, architecture, religion, and political ideas. And thousands of kilometers away, another civilization was developing an entirely different path. Deep in the forests of Mesoamerica, Maya civilization. Imagine standing in the middle of a tropical forest and suddenly seeing enormous stone pyramids rising above the trees. This was the world of the Maya. The Maya civilization developed across parts of present-day Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. Rather than forming one permanent unified empire, Maya civilization consisted of numerous city-states that sometimes traded and sometimes fought each other. Their achievements were extraordinary. They developed sophisticated calendars. They created complex writing systems. They made major advances in mathematics and astronomy. And their architects built enormous ceremonial cities and pyramids. Maya astronomers carefully observed the movements of celestial bodies and incorporated their observations into calendars and religious practices. Some major Maya cities eventually declined, but Maya peoples did not disappear. Their descendants continue to live across the region today. Meanwhile, farther north in Mesoamerica, another powerful civilization was rising, and its capital would become one of the largest cities in the world at the time. Aztec civilization. Imagine approaching a massive city built on an island in the middle of a lake. Causeways connect it to the surrounding land. Canals carry boats through the city. Markets are filled with thousands of people. This was Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire. The Aztecs built an impressive political and economic system across central Mexico. Their capital was connected by roads and causeways, while canals provided another important transportation network. They developed intensive agricultural systems, including raised fields known as chinampas, which helped produce food in the lake environment. The great marketplace of Tlatelolco became a center of trade, where enormous numbers of people could buy and sell goods. But the empire was also built through warfare and tribute. Its power expanded rapidly. Then, in the early 16th century, Spanish forces and their indigenous allies arrived. The Aztec Empire collapsed, but the civilization's achievements and the city beneath modern Mexico City remain part of the region's history. And high in the Andes, another powerful civilization had created a completely different kind of empire. Inca civilization. Now travel thousands of kilometers south, into the Andes Mountains. Here, the Inca built one of the largest empires in pre-Columbian America. And the landscape was not exactly friendly. Steep mountains, deep valleys, extreme elevations. So the Inca adapted. They constructed terraces into mountain slopes, creating farmland where ordinary agriculture would have been difficult. They built an enormous road network, stretching across the Andes. Bridges connected difficult mountain terrain, and carefully engineered stone structures survived earthquakes that could destroy less sophisticated buildings. The Inca also developed sophisticated systems for administration and communication across their vast territory. Then, in the 16th century, the Spanish arrived. The Inca Empire was conquered, but its engineering achievements remain astonishing. And now we reach the civilization you and I are living inside today. A civilization unlike any previous one. Modern global civilization. For most of human history, civilizations were separated by enormous distances. A message could take weeks. A journey could take months. Trade was limited by geography. Today, that world has almost disappeared. A person in one country can communicate instantly with someone on the other side of the planet. Goods cross oceans in enormous ships. Aircraft connect continents in hours. Satellites connect billions of people. And the internet has created something earlier, civilizations could hardly have imagined. A globally connected society. Modern civilization isn't controlled by one empire or one city. It's made up of thousands of governments, cultures, economies, institutions, and communities that constantly interact. And it has produced extraordinary achievements. Modern medicine, electricity, computers, space exploration, artificial intelligence. But it has also created problems on a scale previous civilizations never faced. Climate change, nuclear weapons, global inequality, resource pressure, and technologies powerful enough to affect the entire planet. So perhaps modern civilization isn't the final chapter. It's simply the newest experiment. From ancient rivers to a connected planet, every civilization built upon the discoveries of those before it, shaping the world we inherit today.